Hey there guys, today I thought it was time I did a top 10 list of my favorite Soul Calibur characters. Soul Calibur is full of many unique and memorable characters, and not so good characters, but today I'm going to be counting down the ones I like the most. This list will not contain any guest characters because they didn't originate from the Soul Calibur series. And with that said, here are my top 10 Soul Calibur characters. Number 10, Zwei. Zwei was one of the 7 new characters introduced in Soul Calibur 5, and while I found myself not caring much for the new characters in general, I actually did like Zwei. I will admit that his one-player outfit looks a little too anime for my taste, but I really love his 2-player outfit. It makes me think of something you would see in a Castlevania game, and I mean that in a good way. His moveset is okay I guess, but due to the shorter movesets in Soul Calibur 5, it does come off a little sloppy at times. But when you learn how he plays, it's actually pretty fun. The main thing I didn't like all that much about him was the whole werewolf shtick. Which, by the way, he isn't a freaking werewolf. He should have been called a beast summoner instead. But anyway, I talked more about this in my review for Soul Calibur 5, but I still stand by what I said. And I think it would have been cool if Zwei actually turned into a real werewolf. But what's done is done. The reason why Zwei is at number 10 is mainly because we don't get to learn anything about him. We don't get to learn where he came from, how he met Siegfried or Viola, or how he met Ein. Just absolutely nothing. So really, all I can go on is his looks, and what little personality that was shown of his. However, he does have potential, and I'm curious to see what they'll do with him. Number 9, Amy. Amy is Raphael's beloved adopted daughter, who made her first appearance in the opening for Soul Calibur 2, was featured as a bonus character in Soul Calibur 3, and made her official appearance in Soul Calibur 4. Like Raphael, she also used the rapier style. When it came to choosing to play between Raphael or Amy, I always preferred Amy, because she was quicker and more agile than Raphael. I had a lot of fun using her in Soul Calibur 4, and it was cool to see how they fleshed out her moveset from Soul Calibur 3. Amy is pretty gloomy and pessimistic, but she's very calm, level-headed, and she's always around to keep Raphael's ego in check when he's being an idiot.
Ring out!
Huh? I also think she has a wicked sense of style, as I love her gothic Lolita-inspired fashion. However, as much as I like Amy, the reason why she is placed a little low on this list is because while I did enjoy her design and moveset, her personality was a little on the sullen side compared to the other characters, which kinda made her a little boring, if I had to be honest. But nonetheless, I will always have a soft spot for her. And P.S., we all know she's Viola. She isn't fooling anyone. Number 8, Zasalamel. Zasalamel made his debut in Soul Calibur 3, and his weapon of choice is a large scythe. He's a pretty awesome character. For one, he has a very neat design that was both mysterious and interesting to look at. I personally like his Soul Calibur 3 outfit more than the one from Soul Calibur 4, but that's just me. His personality equally matched his mysterious persona, as he often spoke with a sullen and somber undertone. His moveset was awesome, and very creative. Considering that the scythe style isn't very common in fighting games, a lot of his moves are very unique. It took me a little while to learn how to use him at first, but when I finally got a grasp on how he played, I found myself having lots of fun playing as him, and he became one of my top 5 mains that I enjoy playing as. His backstory was also pretty interesting, as his bio says that he was a magic practitioner who learned how to reincarnate himself. His soul was reborn into a new body, but the side effect of the spell was that he would keep being reborn and could never die. He eventually lost the joy of loving life, and tried to find ways to kill himself, only to fail each time. However, in the end, he learns to accept his fate, and he finds some joy and optimism of experiencing what the future is gonna hold. It's a pretty neat backstory if you ask me. I was very annoyed how he was cut from Soul Calibur 5, because his style was so unique. I'm hoping that he makes a return in the next game, but for now, he's easily one of my favorite characters in the Soul Calibur franchise. Number 7, Tirra. Tirra is a twisted and mentally unstable girl with a split personality disorder. Her main weapon of choice is the ring blade. When Tirra made her debut in Soul Calibur 3, I was instantly drawn to her, especially with the weapon she fought with. I mean, a bladed hula hoop? That's pretty damn original. And the fact that she was voiced by the one and only Jennifer Hale made her all the more cooler. I will admit though, that her voice is very annoying in Soul Calibur 4.
You win! Boys are most beautiful, right before they break!
And you win!
Oh, you wanted to play a little longer, didn't you?
I think that they went a little too overboard with it, but luckily, they fixed that in Soul Calibur 5.
sent to the grave today. I'm gonna sit right here and watch you bleed out.
Speaking of Soul Calibur 5, while the story in that game was a steaming pile of fecal matter, Tirra was hands down the best thing about it. I'd even go as far to say that she was the true star of that mess of a story. Her playstyle has come quite a long way since her debut in Soul Calibur 3. I did have a little difficulty learning her in the later games, but once I got used to how she played, I found her to be a very fun character to use. I really adore Tirra and her crazy sadistic personality. She makes for an interesting antagonist, and I'm glad that she's now a true staple in the character roster.
You're so adorable, all bloody and broken.
Number 6. Eunsung. Eunsung was a character who debuted in Soul Calibur 2, and was a replacement for an older character named Huang, who appeared in the first 2 games. Like Huang, he also uses the Chinese sword style. As cocky and annoying as he can be, I actually found Eunsung to be quite an endearing character, and he had a very fun playstyle that kept improving with each game. He's pretty much one of the characters I enjoyed playing the most in Soul Calibur 2 and in Soul Calibur 4. And I was beyond annoyed when they didn't bring him back in Soul Calibur 5. Ugh. I can admit that when he first debuted in Soul Calibur 2, his personality kind of annoyed me, with his impatient and cocky nature, but in some small way, I actually did enjoy him. He kind of reminds me of Hwarang from the Tekken series. I mean, both characters are Korean, they both have red hair, and they both have cocky, hot-headed personalities. Just saying. Anyway, at the end of the day, Eunsung was a pretty cool character, and it's interesting how a character you initially didn't care for can become one of your favorites.
You win! Burn, baby, burn!
Number 5. Meena. Meena is a character who has appeared in every game excluding Soul Calibur 5. Her main weapon of choice is the Naginata Spear. I've always had a soft spot for Meena. I really like her positive and peppy personality, and she's like that big older sister who may give you a hard time, but deep down, tries to keep you out of trouble. Honestly, I never really used her all that much because her moveset always felt pretty incomplete, at least compared to Killick, even though technically she came first. However, in Soul Calibur 4, her moveset felt very complete, which made her more fun to play. Her backstory was also pretty neat. She's the daughter of a talented swordsman who was the owner of the Xiang Dojo, which was the place where Huang and Eunsung were students at. She wanted to join the coastal military, but was rejected because she was a woman. She then ran away from home to find Soul Edge and to prove herself to her father that she can take care of herself. It was a pretty good backstory for its time. All in all, Meena rocks, and she's definitely one of my favorite characters in the series.
Meena, win!
Want me to teach you how to use that sword?
Number 4. Ivy. Ivy is another character who has appeared in every Soul Calibur game excluding Soul Blade. Her main weapon of choice is the Whip Sword, also referred to as the Snake Sword. Regarded as the sex symbol of the series, she's one of the most controversial female characters in all of gaming history because of her overly sexualized outfits, and while I can understand why, I still really enjoyed her character. I liked Ivy's confident and fearless personality. You definitely wouldn't want to get on her bad side. But the thing I like most about Ivy is her background. She's Sylvanas' illegitimate daughter who is cursed with his blood that's tainted with Soul Edge. She sets out on a journey to destroy him and the evil Soul Edge in the hopes of finding self-redemption. Ivy is just a strong character. The woman has been through hell and back, and she continues to trudge on despite her obstacles. She's easily a don't judge a book by its cover type of character, because behind the over-sexualized design is a pretty deep heroine who really doesn't get that much credit. With an interesting weapon style, badass design, and a great backstory, she's easily one of the best characters in the game. Well, in my opinion anyway.
For better or worse, the swordsman's fate.
Number 3. Tellem. Tellem was another character who made her debut in Soul Calibur 2. Her main weapon of choice are the elbow blades, also known as the tonfa blades. I have to admit that I didn't really pay attention to Tellem all that much when she first debuted, as I found myself more interested in other characters at the time. However, when I decided to learn to play her in Soul Calibur 4, it was there that I realized just how fun her playstyle really was. And looking back, it's pretty cool to see just how far her playstyle has come. Tellem's personality is also very likable, and it's nearly impossible to hate her. I mean, sure, her talk about the wit can get a little annoying sometimes, but other than that, she's one of the kindest characters in the series, as she only wants to help people, especially when you see her Soul Calibur 4 ending. I was very upset that she didn't make it into Soul Calibur 5, and that really pissed me off. It was just unacceptable in my opinion. I really hope that she comes back in the next game, but until that day happens, Tellem is easily one of my favorite characters in the game.
You win!
I won't give give anything less than my all.
Number 2, Taki. Taki is a character who appeared in every single Soul Calibur game excluding Soul Calibur 5. Her main weapon of choice are the Kodochi Ninja Daggers. From the moment I saw Taki in Soul Calibur 2, I thought she looked really cool, and her playstyle was right up my alley. She's pretty much been my main character in all the Soul Calibur games, because I love her fast-paced gameplay. I really like her stern and confident personality, and she seems like a person who's wise beyond her years. I would definitely go to her for some wisdom and advice. Her backstory was also pretty cool. She was raised in a hidden village in a Fuma ninja clan, and grew into an expert demon exterminator, and was one of the best ones in her clan. She eventually learns of Soul Edge's evil power, and set out on a journey to destroy it. I was very disappointed that Taki was cut from the game in Soul Calibur 5, which was just stupid, and I hope that they bring her back in the next game. While her design could be a little overly sexual in some ways, her character truly shines, and she's definitely one of my favorite characters. But there was just one more character I liked a little more.
You win!
Farewell.
And my number 1 favorite Soul Calibur character is Killick. Killick was a character who debuted in Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, and has appeared in every game since then. His main weapon of choice is the bow staff. What can I say? I love characters with a heart of gold, and Killick definitely has that. I like his pacifistic nature, as he doesn't like resorting to violence unless he absolutely has to. Other than that, he's a very friendly guy, and honestly, that's what drew me to his character. His playstyle was very nicely done for a fighting game. I mean, sure, he can be a pretty cheap character, but if you take the time to learn how he plays, it's a very rewarding experience. With that said, it's cool how fleshed out his moveset became with each game. That is, until Soul Calibur 5 happened, because in that game, he came back as a freaking mimic character. And yeah, I was not a fan of that at all. He should have kept his staff. His backstory was pretty tragic. He was a monk in training who one night got possessed by an evil spirit of Soul Edge, and under its control, he killed his beloved best friend, whom he thought of as a sister. Horrified and guilt-ridden with what he did, after receiving training from Edgemaster, he set out on a journey to destroy Soul Edge and purify himself, as well as helping those in need. It was just a really good backstory in my opinion. Nevertheless, Killick had a fun playstyle, a good backstory, and I really liked his personality. So for all these reasons, that is why Killick is my number 1 favorite Soul Calibur character.
You win!
You'll never stand a chance without dedication.
And those are my top 10 favorite Soul Calibur characters. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more gaming goodness. I'm Decadent Gamer, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.